Sharp run.
We're stopping by the infamous Paradox Loft here at GDC, as we do every year, to find out more about what new projects are coming from Paradox Interactive. And we're finally sort of getting to know what you guys at Paradox North have been working on ever since that studio was founded upstairs from Paradox Interactive. Yep. I guess that's why it's North. Magicka Wizard Works. What sort of spurred that idea?
What spurred the idea was that we had a great game to start with, and we had a PvP experience that we thought we wanted to kind of take the next step with. Obviously, the original game had a not so balanced spell system, so we decided to go with, make it a fully dedicated game and just create a kick-ass PvP experience with it.
So one misunderstanding, or sort of, I think, since everyone's going MOBA, everyone sort of assumed that that sort of sounds like a MOBA, but it's not quite that, is it? It doesn't have the sort of the trappings of your typical MOBA game.
No, it's actually more like a fighting game in that we have these epic one-on-one duels, complete with like blocking, parrying, ripostes, counterattacks, and we really give all the players the entire Magicka spell casting system with hundreds of spells available at any given time.
And what I thought was interesting also is like you're moving away from this sort of map where you have a base and you attack a base and you have that sort of singular progression into more what's, you know, sort of like the battlefield formula, if you will, you know, where you have control points instead, and that's how you sort of win a match.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for obvious reasons, Battlefield is kind of an inspiration. We both worked on that game, but that's not why we chose this game mode.
It's completely different, though. You can't say that it's you know.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Basically, what we were after was a more fluent gameplay. We didn't want it to be. I mean, a typical MOBA game is like, you start at one place and you know the progression throughout a round, and then it ends always with a base being destroyed. We wanted a more fluent gameplay, so basically we chose to go with control points that can shift ownership. They are your spawn points, and it also means that anything can happen throughout the round. It means that someone can kind of turn the tide at any point in the round.
So, and I also like the sort of the sense of escalation, that you unlock more and more powerful magics as you go by, because that's sort of, sometimes the end game can be a little bit like predictable, a little bit boring, but by using such a progression, it means that things can turn around quickly towards the end, right?
Yes. I mean, we have an in-round progression. We're going for quite short rounds, say around 5 minutes. So we don't have time to do any complex and fancy things. We keep it simple. So the player decides which sort of magics he wants to bring into the game. And he has to make a conscious choice. Do I want to bring revive, or do I want to bring a meteor shower? Help the team or hurt the enemy? And during the round, the player gets to choose like which of them he actually gets to use. And once the round progresses, you have the... sorry, I lost that one.
I'm not sure what you're after either, but basically, as the round progresses, you will unlock these magics as you go. So if you picked, let's say, the first item is something that will support you, you will get that early on. And then the second tier is usually something that will hurt the enemy, and you'll get that maybe, say, 2 minutes into the round, and etc. And you always will end up with some kind of what we call an ulti towards the end. So even if you're at a disadvantage, if you manage to unlock that ultimate thing, you might actually be lucky and blow the hell out of the enemy and kind of win the round anyway.
So
Was that what you were after?
Yes, that was exactly what I was after. Thank you.
lifesaver.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about how you're developing the game, because I thought that was kind of interesting how you talked about the need to sort of always have a functioning game so that you can always try it out and test it along the way, and sort of that philosophy.
Yeah, that was definitely something we set out to do really early. Most of the guys on the team have worked with agile methodology before. One of the key things that you generally miss in the gaming industry is that you always make sure to have a running game, and that's what we do. So we have playtests every day at 3 o'clock. Any crash bugs need to be fixed immediately. And every Friday, we basically create a retail build that we're ready to upload to Steam and basically publish. We're not going to do that for quite a while, but
Unless someone pushes that button.
that's true. That's why there are not so many that can do that.
But all right, so I mean, obviously, like the boring question is like, all right, so you got this product, how do you want to sort of monetize it? How do you want players to? Because this space, little bit, it's all going free to play, right? And you're talking about fun to play. What are your thoughts on that? I know you're not really announcing anything, but what are your thoughts?
The thoughts on fun to play is just that. We're still at an early stage. We're pre-alpha. The focus is to create a really fun to play gameplay. And once we've done that, once we know we have a solid game, we can actually start looking into, okay, what's the best way to offer this to our players. And I think that if we go free to play, or if we go charging an upfront fee, I think our players will enjoy the experience. And if they don't think it's fun, it's not worth anything. So we need to make sure we have a fun to play game.
Because you don't want to add on a lot of sort of superficial friction on this kind of game just to sort of monetize it, right?
Definitely not. And I think when it comes to making it easier to play, I would like to kind of throw that to David, what we've done in order to make it easy to get into the game, frictionless, even with or without payments.
Not quite sure.
Like simplified controls.
Ah, yes, of course. You'd had the nice little task to me to make Magicka work with like 2 mouse buttons. That was interesting. It took a while, but we actually did it. We did develop a sort of context-sensitive system that enabled you to have movement on one mouse button and spell casting on the other. If you wanted to cast something on yourself, you basically clicked on yourself. And we tried to continue to do that, and looking at the redundancies, so to speak, in the original Magicka thing, try to remove them and making all the spells relevant choices. And I think we're down to something that works really well, even at this pre-alpha stage.
Because you don't want to have in a game like this a situation where the player who dies is confused as to sort of why he died, or that sort of thing. Or do you? Maybe you do. I don't know.
It's such a high-paced environment. But I mean, being able to see what's happening, that's key. It's very important. So we're both going to work with say, effects in-game. You will actually see fireballs twirling around an enemy if he's charging up fire spells. But in the chaos that is like Magicka PvP, there's so much stuff going on. We might look at assisting the player further with, say, HUD elements or icons, just to clarify the communication, making sure that you're able to see what's going on.
That's the key when it happens to you the next time. And if you die again, then you know why.
Yeah.
All right. So what's sort of the time plan ahead with the game? I know you haven't been working on it too long, but what's in store?
So basically what's in store is that, again, we have the focus on fun to play right now. We're basically almost announcing this prematurely to make sure that the community gets the chance to visit our forums and our website, let us know what is Magicka PvP to them. Because, we have our plans and our thought that this is the foundation we want to build. But I really, truly believe that the key and the answer to what makes this game great is that the community comes to us and says, hey, this is what we want for Magicka PvP.
Right. So here's your chance. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.